So New Mover is exciting, it's customizable, it's all around friendly from ease of service to patron reception. It gives your library the power to be proactive about inviting people into your library as soon as they move into your service area. I am going to take you through what it looks like from start to finish. I'll highlight some ways in which you can customize the process to highlight how other libraries have taken advantage of the service and how you can make it work for you. At the end, we'll look at some general pricing and a few glowing reviews from libraries with varying experience of the process, all the way from right after the first run to months and even years in. Here we go. All right, any effective service starts with a problem that needs solving, right? The problem du jour that inspired New Mover was that of identifying and marketing to people who have, shocking, just moved into your library service to welcome them into your library. So we'll start with the basics. What is New Mover? We use, as Kevin mentioned, the United States Postal Service's NCOA or National Change of Address Database and your library's service area. And using those two pieces, we create a list of new residents that qualify for library cards. We send each address that we have gathered a library branded postcard to welcome them to their new homes and through your doors. Getting into some specifics next, we'll camp out on this slide for a while. At the very beginning of the New Mover service, we gather three pieces of information from you. First, postcard art. Second, library service area. And third, an existing patron filter file. We send templates for the postcard art. You can choose between 4x6 or 6x9 as our general sizes available, and then start creating. I'll go into more details about potential elements of your postcard design as well as what some other libraries have done soon. But before we get too excited, I'll continue briefly down our timeline here. We will work with you on defining your library service area next. We typically see lists of zip codes, which is a perfect fit. However, sometimes we'll see libraries with trickier service areas, so we can also use shape files. Some libraries have gotten them from their cities for more specificity, and we're also able to help creating those. Like if you know that there's a school district or a county line that's a little bit funky and that cuts up your library service area, we can definitely work around things like that. Third, going back to that existing patron filter file, this is a full list of all patrons currently in your system that you can pull for us. A lot of times we'll see that come through in an Excel sheet. It's truly just a list of names. And we use that to, as the name suggests, filter out any patrons who have recently moved and have already begun to take advantage of your library's offerings. Now, this one is an optional step. There are plenty of libraries that prefer to welcome everyone to their new homes, regardless of whether they already have a card. Um, so the library service area, the first one that I mentioned, is something that we only need to gather once. You can update art as needed for each run, and then the patron filter file can also be updated each run. We run those regularly, quarterly mailings in March, June, September, and December. Every quarter, you have the option to go back 3 or 6 months to pull data. The standard is to go back 6 months for the initial run, and then moving forward to go back 3 months. That's something that's just kind of a groove that we get into the more that you use the service. But this is also customizable. We do have libraries as well who think that a lot of patrons need a couple of extra nudges to get them through the doors. And so sometimes they'll go back 6 months for every run so that they're sending duplicate postcards. Let's see. We acquire the mailing data. We work with the printer on art submissions and proof copies and track and approve the mailings. We keep you up to date on each step of the way. And once we get that data acquisition, all of that is complete, you receive a record count and an interactive map. The record count is just a full list of those names and addresses that you can review. And it will show the list of existing patrons that have been filtered out, as well as a lot of times we'll get notices if there are deceased patrons or any changes to the area that will be listed as well. Or sorry, deceased names, not patrons. um, Potential patrons. Oh, and then the interactive map. Let me pull this up to show you all. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is one that you will receive on a quarterly basis as well. These are all of the new addresses that were pulled for Westerville last quarter. This is interactive. You'll see it'll move around if I there we go. Zoom all the way out. You'll see that there were a total of 209 addresses that were pulled. You see that up there as well, total exported. If there was any difference in the addresses that were initially listed versus ones that truly fit in your library service area, you would see that difference here. You would also see if they had pulled that existing patron filter file and we had seen any duplicates there, those would be listed here. And then those records that I was talking about can also be listed if they are found. Now, this map is real cool. As we zoom in, you'll also see those dots start to splinter off. And when they finally get down to those green dots, those are individual addresses. I won't do this here, but you can hover over each of these dots and the name of the individual that just moved in, as well as their new address, is listed here as well. This is just a really cool feature that I like to look at. I think that it gives visual interest, but also there are libraries who will zoom in. A lot of times libraries with very tricky service areas will use this more than others, so that they can kind of double check the work that our system has done to make sure that people aren't getting postcards that have not qualified or would not qualify for a library card. But that's a neat little tool. Let's see. All right. Oh yeah, you also receive a proof copy of your final postcard art via email and a physical postcard with the mailing so that you have a copy to show for your work. And also that gives you a great idea of when postcards have begun to hit mailboxes. Finally, I will also send out a notice when all the postcards have gone out. Now that we have a better understanding of how we make New Mover happen, we can look at the fun stuff. This is easily my favorite aspect of this service. It's getting to see how creative libraries are with their postcard designs. Um, I can get a sense of each library and community, which is how you know these postcards work. That's what we're trying to do. So these are the fundamental elements of the postcard on the screen now. On the front, over here, we have library branding, we have a welcome message, we have some great imagery showing off the library itself, as well as the option to highlight staff or activities and more things like that. And then we move to the back of the postcard. Um, the back gives you the option to list featured services. A call to action is often really great and useful here. And then physical as well as virtual addresses for the library. The options don't stop there though. So let's see, we're going to move over, take a look at these. Libraries do see great returns when they incorporate things like coupons for cafes and bookstores if available. If you all don't have something like that in your library, I've also seen some offer goodie bags if new patrons bring their postcards in, things like that. QR codes also, I've got a couple of examples. Yeah, QR codes are great options as they also offer interactive elements. So these sometimes can lead straight to e-card signups or something like that, but they will give you a way to effectively track how the postcards are working. Let's see. Yeah, libraries have just gotten so creative with what they include on their postcards. There's really The possibilities really are endless. Some QR codes take patrons directly to e-card signups, as I mentioned. Calls to action, such as bring this card in for address confirmation instead of someone having to worry about grabbing a physical copy of a bill or something like that. Those are also effective. You can simply highlight the sense of community that you all are creating. Like I look at the Greene County postcard down here. That's such a great picture. Um, but you can also, the way that this one up here did, list services that might not be as well known, like the passport services, notary offerings. The seed libraries are so cool, and the library of things, people always get really excited about that as well. We have also done special runs for libraries announcing the opening or reopening of branches and things like that. We do often do both for libraries. Our regular quarterly new mover service, as well as some special runs to keep patrons and new residents alike up to date on how your library is there for them. Really, the biggest differentiation in those special runs is we would open up the addresses from new movers within the last 3 or 6 months to all the patrons in your service area. Um, I do think that seeing these libraries come back for more is really a testament alone for how easy the process is. But you don't have to take my word for it. See, we'll
Hey,
move them.
Haley, real quick,
Yeah,
actually, sorry if I could just hop in.
no,
I've got a question in from
yeah, for
Eric
sure.
about the design process. Oh,
Hmm.
and he dropped another one as well. First of all, do we need to include space in the design for a stamp? And then if you just want to maybe talk about the process a little bit more of designing it and, kind of what they get from us, what we need from them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, those are both great questions. So I moved back over here so that we can take a look at the elements again. So the big things for mailing that's special down here is where the address goes. There is a block that you do need to leave open for, it would be mainly address, since it's going from the printer directly, we don't have to leave a space like up in one of the corners for a stamp. Um, but we also send out templates, either the 4x6 or the 6x9. Often I'll send both to libraries that are interested, and those templates have those basic areas blocked out. So we'll have even in the on the template, it looks larger than this little square right here that we have grayed out for you to show different things that do need to be left blank. Otherwise, you really do have creative freedom in terms of what you can put on the postcards and how you can design them.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do we think that that answered the question?
I think so. And
Yeah,
Eric, if
perfect.
you got anything else, obviously popping in the chat, or we've got the Q&A. I know you have another question, and I think
Oh,
Haley will
okay.
answer that here shortly.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's move on back. We were over on Fairfield. Yeah, so Fairfield is an example of a library. They actually just went through their first run this February. They've participated in each run since, and in total so far, we have sent 1,026 postcards for them. They've been really great to work with. I was excited to snag a quote from Westerville. Westerville was also the library that we used as an example for that interactive map. They've been awesome. They are the first library ever who has used the New Mover service. They started with us back in 2022, and they average around 200 postcards per quarter as well. While these two libraries kind of averaged similar size mailings, libraries of all sizes do participate. So we do have options for everyone. Let's see. We'll move over here to pricing. I'm sure that's something that a lot of people have questions on. This is pricing for the service is determined by the postcard size that you choose, and then it's determined by the volume of each mailing. So basic pricing goes as follows. For 4x6, we have $1.49 is our average postcard price. So that would be under 800 postcards per mailing. We do not very often see libraries who go over that 800, but if you do, we do have a price cut for you at $1.17 per postcard. And then down to the 6x9, for under 800, we typically see libraries at the $1.49. And then if you are sending over 800 again, you get a price cut at $1.25. The other thing to note I have down at the very bottom of this slide, there is a minimum per mailing of $125 at this point. We are actively working to lower that. We actually very recently lowered it from 300. So we're constantly working to see if we can streamline the process, and any savings that we're able to capture, we definitely pass immediately on to you all. But that minimum mailing does sit at 125. So that would be any postcards that would move over that cost. That is where the dollar amount would come in. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to bring up here. Oh yeah, I was going to go into um, the quarters again, but I already did that as well. Yeah, just to sum up, this has definitely been a really useful tool for libraries that have participated. We've seen a lot of great return. It does get in front of new residents. We really are able to reach out to new potential patrons as they're moving into your service area. You do have the option and opportunity to showcase your library's best features. Um, Bringing people in, getting people excited about libraries, potentially for the first time. That's really exciting. Um, I've really been blown away by the postcards that people have come up with and sent in to us. Um, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, just to wrap up before we move into the question and answer, I did want to reiterate what Kevin had said at the beginning. After our meeting today, we'll send out a follow-up email, which will include the option to request a quote for the service. We'll send out an article that talks about ways that some libraries have tracked how effective the mailings have been for them specifically. And otherwise, I just appreciate you all taking some time out of your busy days to learn more about this exciting new service. It's really been a pleasure watching how libraries have used this. It's really lighthearted and easy new way to establish relationships with new patrons. And I hope that you all will find it just as great of a fit. Okay, do we have any questions?
We do have a few in the
Awesome.
chat. First from Amy, does this service require time commitment, or is this a service that the library system could use intermittently as budgets allow?
Yeah, sure. So we have seen libraries kind of work with what works best for them. There is not a time commitment. Some libraries, just the way that they work with their board, they have gone ahead and established particular times. Um, that they will commit to the service with us, but we don't require that. There are libraries who also use it twice a year instead of quarterly, or once a year. Yeah, there's freedom there.
So take it quarter by quarter.
Yeah,
And then we've got another question here. If you could speak to the success or response rate about the effectiveness of this program. I think you mentioned a little bit about the article and people will be seeing in the follow-up
right.
email of kind of tracking and just kind of what maybe set some expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. So expectations are a little funky for a service like this. We do not personally track this. There's a number of different reasons for that. We don't keep on to patron information for privacy's sake, so we aren't able to track effectiveness in that way. We have seen a few libraries pull different existing patron filter files and then compare them to the record count that we provide, and that way they've been able to get a sense of how effective those postcards are. The QR codes that some people use are also a great tool in that regard. I believe that that's kind of a repeat of something I'd mentioned earlier. In terms of what you can expect from this service, the rate of returns for postcard runs like this, it sounds kind of crazy, but if we are looking at like a 2% return, that's like great work. And that's not even just from a library perspective, that's from marketing postcard runs generally. That's where I would put expectations for returns. If we do see more returns than that, then that's great and that's so exciting. But yeah, otherwise it's not something that we're able to track on our end just for privacy reasons.
Awesome. We got a couple more questions here.
Hmm.
Um, about the templates, how editable are they? And as long as we avoid the address area, do we pretty much have free reign on the design?
Yes, yeah, you definitely have free reign on that design. The address area and then the overall size are really the only things that are absolute requirements from us. Um, the templates themselves are, it's more so that something to reference. So you wouldn't click in necessarily to the templates that I would send on. They're really just to reference back to. So yeah, you absolutely have free reign.
Got another question. Actually, if you go back to the pricing slide, I think it'll
Ooh,
help give a little
yes,
bit of clarity
absolutely. There we
from
go.
Eric. So we're talking about pricing here with
Hmm.
the $1.42. I think he's referencing the four
Four
by
by
six
six.
postcard under 400.
Yep.
The 125, the minimum $125 cost would cover up to 88 postcards, and then the price would go up from there. Is that how it's set up?
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome. Easy, succinct, love it.
Hmm.
Looks like Becky, yes, the webinar recording will be sent out to everybody
Yes.
as soon as we get it uploaded. And then again, does the price include both the printing and the mailing costs?
Yep. Yeah, that the minimum and then that additional the $1.42 or $1.49, that is the flat rate.
All right, I'll give just another second here for some questions. We've got some good ones coming in. Thanks for
Mhm.
everybody's participation. All right, I think everybody's got any questions, and if anyone thinks of anything else, yeah, just let Haley know, and she's the expert here with us at Unique, so she'll be able to answer anything or get an answer for you.